Hey, this is Trey Lopashinsky with energeticcity.ca. It's the community roundup, and I'm here with Ben Waechter. Did I say it right? That's
You
how?
got
Okay.
it.
I was practicing it and practicing it beforehand. I was like, I'm going to get it the first time, so
Yeah.
I'm glad. Just jumping right into it, Ben. You're the organizer with the Peace Valley Folk Festival, the inaugural year. It was
Yeah.
canceled last year. It's greenlit for this year. What was the reasoning deciding that this year it's going to be a go no matter what?
Well, we really want to support the arts. Like, we got a lot of the artists that we know personally and that we've met through organizing this, and they're, struggling. They haven't worked in their field in a year, so we want to go ahead regardless. Obviously, if the provincial government says, like, you can't do this, we won't do it. But yeah, if 10 people show up or 250 show up, we're going to have the stage lit up and music playing. So, yeah.
And just seeing the COVID-19 plans that were released, like the restart plans to kind of get gatherings and everything else that's going on in BC up and running again, was that kind of behind it as well? Like, hey, they've released a restart plan. Okay,
Yeah.
let's start really thinking about this for this year.
Yeah, we're part of a BC Music Festival collective. We're kind of the newbies on the block. Obviously, there's a bunch of established festivals, so everyone was kind of holding their breath until May 24th when they were going to release this plan. And when we saw the plan and it said that, I think as of right now, you can have certain gatherings outdoors up to 50 people. So if the plan goes as they proposed it, then we can't see them not increasing that number. If they're going to allow 50 indoors, probably 100 outdoors, or we don't really know the numbers, but we, as a smaller event, don't need 1,000 people to be there to be able to host it. So if we ended up with 100 people, we'd be ecstatic. If we had 300 people, we'd be over the moon. So yeah, the plan, we're optimists to begin with. You have to be to do music in the north, so we're really hoping we can have something happen. Yeah.
Well, and getting out the question that's probably on everyone's mind when they saw that you guys are doing the festival, how excited are you now, Ben?
Oh, we're pumped, and talking to the musicians that we had, lined up a year ago and then had to say, sorry, we're not doing it. They're, tenfold what we are. So we're really looking forward to it. We got a lot of good response, and yeah, we can't be more excited to have live music again. That's a big part of my life, and I think it's a big part of like the community's life. So yeah.
And kind of as a safeguard, you guys have also applied for a grant. You were telling me you've just applied for it, but basically,
Yeah.
what's behind the grant? Do you remember the name at all? that you
It's through
specifically-
Factor, which is a Canadian organization, and I think it's federally funded, and they've put out a certain amount of funding that if your event, they're trying to promote live music events and promote the arts. So they're saying that if you're selected for this grant, you run your event, even if you can't have spectators, they're going to at least pay the artists.
That would be awesome.
So if we got approved for that, that would be the icing on the cake, because that's what we really want to do. We want to keep the artists working and doing what they love. So.
And have you talked to all the artists that are joining in?
Yeah.
Delving into it, what was their response, and also what are some artists that residents in the Peace region could expect at the festival?
Well, there's a couple names that everyone or anyone that's been to music events around here will know. Like Naomi Shore is confirmed. Ian Bruvold with Folky Strum is coming. Eric Clark, who's local to Fort St. John here, will be playing. Rose Prairie Romance, they're going to come, and we're really pumped. They had an album release planned prior to COVID, and that got canceled. So as far as I know, this will be their first live show, playing that new album. And Larissa Scriven, and then we've got some artists from Prince George, Danny Bell and Disappointments, Bryn Porter. They've all played up here. Rolla Pub has hosted pretty much every artist that we're hosting back in the day. But yeah, they're all really looking forward to it, and they all kind of know each other, so it's going to be kind of a musician reunion for them, I think.
And how was the response from them finding out that it's greenlit no matter what, this is happening?
Yeah, they're pretty stoked. I don't know. I haven't sat down and chatted in person with any of them. It's all just been through messengers and texts. But yeah, as many exclamation marks as you can put, we've got them. They're pretty excited. So yeah, we're
And you guys are obviously kind of in the beginning stages of planning for the event. It's not happening until August. It's a 2-day event. For residents that this might be their first time hearing about the festival, what can they expect in terms of camping, the location in Hudson's Hope, how is the whole festival going to look as it stands right now?
Yeah, it's on a private property, not in the center of town, but pretty close to the center of town. And there's a big field that will be free camping. We're going to do first come, first serve because we can't guarantee everyone a spot, but it's a pretty big field. There's no hookups or anything. And then the festival itself there's an old school there from the 60s that was built when they were putting up the Peace Canyon Dam. And so the festival grounds are going to be wrapped around that building on the backside.
Oh, wow.
And so I just got some of the components yesterday. We're going to start breaking ground to build a stage over the next couple weeks. And yeah, last year when we planned the event, we had a lot more leadway and a lot more idea of what would be allowed. So we were going to do some add-ons besides just music. But this year we're just going to primarily focus on the music, just with the short time frame and the unknowns. Mm-hmm. And then future years we'll add, some more. I think we're going to try to add more things that would appeal to children, during the day.
A family-friendly type of event, definitely. Well, and I mean, planning a festival in the midst of the pandemic, like you said, the unknowns. Of course, let's just focus on the music for now. If it works out, then, future years you guys will have that in the bag. Are there going to be like food vendors or anything like that? Like you guys are kind of planning that out as well?
We have a pizza trailer from Hudson's Hope. They do like a wood-fired pizza that's fantastic. They're for sure coming. But until we know how many people we can have, we don't want to have 15 food vendors and 50 people. And, to drive a big truck there can cost money. So, and we are planning a beer gardens, but that's really in the early stages right now. Getting a liquor license approved when you can't really tell how many people are going to be there might be an issue. So we'll see how that rolls out. But.
And just wrapping up here, Ben, this is kind of a broad question, again, filled with unknowns, but what are your kind of hopes and dreams with the festival moving on if it's successful this year?
Yeah.
I know that's a lot to unpack there in that question.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to ask me what my dreams are because I have a lot. But, a festival that we're kind of sort of mirroring is the Robson Valley Music Festival in Dunster. And I think they cap at 1,000 people. And I've been to that festival a few times, and it's intimate where you don't feel like you're just amongst a bunch of strangers, but it's big enough that they draw some really cool names and they can pay their performers well, and that would be our long-term goal. That's kind of where we're aiming to go.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today,
thanks
Ben.
for talking to us.
Ben Waechter, the organizer for the Peace Valley Folk Festival. I'm Trail Opashinsky with energeticcity.ca. This was the Community Roundup.
Sweet, man.